Hey everyone, I just made a Spider-Man edit. Please watch it. Epilepsy warning, but it's really good. I love Spider-Man. I worked very hard on it. So here's my Spider-Man edit.
I like to get my days up while I'm getting high.
I jerk off in the porta shitters.
Way too rich to drive a roof. Made $1 million out of stone.
Hey, before this video begins, I'm on Spotify now.
Want a break from the ads? If you tap now.
So if you want to watch my videos while you sleep but don't want to use YouTube, or if you want to hear me scream in your ear while you go grocery shopping, then I'm right here on Spotify. That way I can make more money from you. And with the money, I will be slaughtering Joe Rogan live on camera. Anyway, so yeah, a new way to watch me unlock. Oh, and speaking of Spotify, I got a new music thing on my music channel.
Tired of fake friends? Betrayal got you down? We got you covered. Maskaholics presents No Bears, featuring the hottest bangers.
Do you mind me? Could you find me? Could you tell me? Could you find me?
And that's just a taste of what's to come. This is No Bears.
Insomniac's Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a complete narrative disaster. It is one of the most embarrassing stories I have ever seen in a video game. If I wrote the story, I would be genuinely ashamed of myself. There is a large amount of people that say that story does not matter in video games. I have always disagreed with this though, as there are plenty of games that maybe aren't the best in terms of gameplay, but provide very engaging stories that more than make up for it. Spider-Man 2, meanwhile, is another game I would also use as to why story does matter, but for the complete opposite reasons. Because the gameplay of the game is actually really fun, and for the most part is a very massive improvement from the first game. However, the story is so fucking bad that it almost single-handedly ruins the whole experience. Spider-Man 2 is kind of like a 9 Vicious, where like the gameplay, the beat selection is the most heavenly, most beautiful thing you have ever heard in your life. Then 9 Vicious starts rapping.
I'm finna turn to a drink. I'm finna turn to a drink. I'm finna turn to a drink.
It's weird because I do like the original game story. So Spider-Man 2's story being a dog shit is like, you know, what the fuck? So this is why Spider-Man 2 is a complete narrative train wreck, and why Insomniac should go back to their high school creative writing classes. First off, the writing is awful. Okay, so I assume that most of us have talked to a human being before. You might have voluntarily or involuntarily had to talk to a real person in real life.
Hey, you want the Falcon back, but I want it fair and square. I'm Han Solo.
No.
Now, I want you to think, how did you talk to them? How did they talk back to you? What made them memorable to you? What made you try and stand out to them? Now, with that context in your head, I want to ask you a question. When the fuck have you or any other person talked like any of these people?
FRND. Did I just make a friend?
You did! 7th grade me was so wholesome.
I jerk off in the porta shitters.
The entire fucking game is written like an anti-bullying PSA.
I played the bully and hated it.
I'm the hero here, not you.
It felt awful.
I was the one getting bullied, and that didn't feel so good either.
She ride dick like a carnival.
Stop bullying.
Every character is so unapologetically nice to each other, and they're always explaining how they feel more than actually expressing how they feel.
I've got to let go of things that don't serve me and focus on where I want to go, not where I've been. ¿Entiendes lo que te digo?
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Like, take this scene, for example. Miles just reunited with the guy who killed his dad, and that guy has been kidnapped by Kraven. So Miles, being a teenager who is untuned to his own emotions, would naturally be upset and conflicted at this. Peter then tries cheering him up, resulting in this exchange.
We'll put Lee back where he belongs. Promise. Don't leave me hanging. Trying to soak over here.
I'm trying to soak over. Who talks like this? Like, think about anything Miles could have said here. Like, maybe like, I'm not in the mood, dude. Or, I don't know, like, nothing at all. Why would this dude be in the right state of mind to make this self-aware joke here? This is how every fucking exchange of dialogue is in this game.
Good job back there. Really? I was pretty sure I was just messing everything up. You were. But in the best possible way.
I jerk off in the porta shitters.
It is dialogue that is on a par with conservative Christian movies. I feel like Spider-Man's gonna try and convert me to Christ throughout this thing, dude.
I have a sworn statement from you. This man, Cy, Gangnam Style, assassinated Ian Hecox of Smosh.
TBH, I'd rather go home and eat nacho cheese Doritos.
Gordon, I don't like how you go home and eat nacho cheese Doritos and watch Netflix. You've got to get your ass into gear and go sicko mode, right? Your mama's so fat that when she stepped on the scale, it said one at a time, please.
You know those fucking Drake memes that go like, Drake the type of guy to go up to a school shooter and say, this isn't you? Yeah, that's how the fucking entire game is written. I really love this one part where there's this, this deaf character, right? So all these characters are, you know, speaking in sign language, alright, cool. But then Genki, the character who would go on to inspire the CEO of Sex, notices that Peter Parker, who is his teacher, is about to get fired, to which he does this.
I can't watch this. But I also can't look away.
Wow, amazing Insomniac. He's doing sign language away from the direction of the deaf character. The game even has its own Arkham Scarecrow at a home hallucination moments, to which the Adora the Explorer inspired dialogue really comes into full force.
It's so peaceful without Miles.
I've been watching you.
You have?
And it hurts. What happened to the boy that I raised?
Miles, it's me, your dead police officer dad. I'm speaking to you through the Scarecrow right now. I'm so disappointed you're Spider-Man.
You're a coward. Staying with my family. You're a failure, Miles. Always will be.
That's right, Miles. You are a failure and a coward for doing, exactly what I was doing while I was alive.
No! You never say that! None of you would!
On account that, logically speaking, it makes 0 sense! Part of me wants to say this game is written like a children's cartoon, except the Spider-Man children's cartoons in question are like 10 times better written. The writing tries way too hard to make these characters likable at almost every waking moment. Like, you know Spider-Man and his super friends are from New York, right? Do you know what New York is like?
I was born Hasidic Jew, and then I converted to Islam because Jews are f***s. I am a Jewish Hasidic Jew, and I'm gonna tell you right now, alhamdulillah, I'm a f***. That's why I converted to Islam. Blessed be to Muhammad.
The game really is just trying way too hard to make these characters likable. And as a result, they have no bite, nothing to latch onto. I can just smell the motivational cat posters on the writer's room walls. So when the game tries to explore character flaws, and I use that term extremely loosely, it starts getting really funny when the writers don't actually know what the fuck to explore. Like, so the game tackles the symbiote, right? Which, yeah, this game, written like it is trying to tackle the symbiote. And near the end, MJ becomes Scream, the Spider-Man villain. Yeah, fuck it, I guess, bro. And the dialogue had me cry laughing while I was playing this game.
Always about you! You can't keep a job! You can't pay the mortgage!
You're so selfish for wanting financial stability, Spider-Man!
Remember your book? You said you want to help people!
Nobody read it!
We can't be serious, dog.
I read it! It helped me!
There were some grammatical errors in it, though!
Looking for answers! Please! Because you lost a job or can't pay a bill!
That man has no taxes.
Well, you do, sir.
Well, can't afford to pay him.
Oh, Mr. J, I wrote a fan fiction, Mr. J. I put it on AO3.
That's amazing, Harley. You sure are talented.
Oh, thank you, Puddin'. I've been real insecure about it.
Joker, you're okay? I thought you were sick from the Arkham Asylum incident from the last game. Well, it is my sick and twisted mind that kept me alive. And I'm going to lower everyone's credit score. That's my evil plan. What? No. That's insane. This isn't. This dog shit, garbage dialogue has been a thing in Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And just to make it clear, I don't think it was excusable in those games either. But for other people, it was, because Miles Morales wasn't a mainline game, it was a spin-off. And Ratchet and Clank, say it with me, is a children's game, and children's works aren't art. That's right. But now that this writing has extended over into the mainline game and is worse here, it is a 10 times more egregious and like a 15 times more disappointing. The writing alone has opted me out of buying that Wolverine game because I just can't fucking take any more of this shit. I don't want to play a game where the characters are Mormon robots. Like literally, the whole game has me feeling like Stan during the South Park Mormon episode. That is what playing this fuck-ass game is like, bro. Point number 2, and then the symbiote. You know, I mentioned South Park jokingly earlier, but to bring that show back to the forefront here, Matt and Trey do a great job explaining what I call the and then rule, which is that when you have a narrative, you never, ever want to use the term and then.
We can take these beats, which are basically the beats of your outline, and if the words and then belong between those beats, you're f***ed, basically. You got something pretty boring. What should happen between every beat that you've written down is either the word therefore or but. So what I'm saying is that you come up with an idea and it's like, okay, this happens, right? And then this happens. No, it should be this happens and therefore this happens. But this happens, therefore this happens.
And the one Spider-Man arc that really depends on this is the Symbiote arc. An arc that's about a parasitic alien feeding off the worst parts of you. And because this arc requires nuanced characters and a gradual build-up, if there's one time you should not try to fuck around with the and then rule, it should be here. However, at Insomniac Games, they just forget about the rule entirely in this game. So in the game, Harry Osborn has the symbiote. And you know what? Shockingly, I don't hate that idea, actually. A big thing about Venom's character is his personal connection to Spider-Man, and the idea that this giant black monster could be what Spider-Man could become. That is, if he doesn't use responsibility and keep himself in check. And that requires a contrasting character who gets mad at Spider-Man and becomes the bad guy. Now, normally that role would go to Eddie Brock, but honestly, Harry Osborn covers the same themes already as a character. Just make sure you build and break that friendship bond, and that's it. Now, first problem, the game does do that, but in the most boring way possible. Slow walking scene, followed by slow bike trailing mission, followed by a forced stealth sequence, forced minigame sequence, forced walking sequence. This is how you build a character, apparently. These scenes would be fine if they didn't last like 5 million fucking years, which they do.
Oh, nice! Yes! Yep. Oh yeah. Gotta protect the high.
Top this off with the overly everyone's nice styled writing and it gets unbearable.
So, Dr. Foster up ahead, he's won every top prize in the field for his work with plant genetics.
Wow.
Did you have a chance to feed the fish?
No, I didn't.
Wow. Oh, you have to. It's seriously one of my favorite spots in the whole building.
Wow.
So calming, and we're doing cool research inspired by the cellular structure.
You really have a particle accelerator? Wow.
We use it to send proton beams to that treatment room downstairs.
Wow. Incredible. Wow.
I think I'm gonna head back to the lab, see if Dr. Connors has showed up yet.
Wow.
Good call.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
This here, Peter, is my decancerinator, which will remove all the cancer in the entire world.
Wow.
And this here is the Vivzitron 9000, which replaces all the Has-Been Hotel music with unreleased Playboy Cardi grails.
Wow.
Then the symbiote gets introduced, hooray!
Wow.
To which Harry Osborn is using the symbiote like an exosuit. Now, you would think there'd be a little bit of foreshadowing here. Just a few hints that Harry Osborn might be a little off due to the suit. And rest assured, the game does not do this.
I guess we really are spider pals now.
Wow.
And then eventually, see what I did there? And then eventually during a death fake out, the suit just kind of leaves Harry and gets onto Peter. And then due to the symbiote, Peter goes from this.
You were, but in the best possible way.
Elder Millennial.
To acting like this.
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey. What's wrong with you, bro? Stop fucking laughing, bro.
Truth is, I'm the hero here, not you.
You know, I just act awesomely random.
It's not subtle at all. It barely qualifies as gradual. And somehow it's still spelled out to you because Insomniac thinks you're stupid.
He's not normally like that, right?
No, he's never like that.
Oh, really now? What makes you say that?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey.
I don't know. It seems perfectly normal to me.
I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
You see what I mean here, though? The symbiote suit is not given any kind of a character depth or anything. Shit just happens. A fucking wee ball.
There are 67 shutdown steps.
The joke in this meme is that the pastor said the number 67.
What's even worse is that the first game has plenty of narrative threads the symbiote can bite into. The first game ends with Aunt May dying, and Peter beating the shit out of his former mentor. And the symbiote doesn't feed into that? Peter and MJ's relationship was shaky in the first game, and yet the symbiote, the black alien slime, is concerned about their fucking mortgage?
You lost a job, a can't pay a bill!
I tried to foreign like it was a Chevy. I tried to foreign like it was a Chevy.
This is one of the worst adaptations of the symbiote I have ever seen. It is hilariously, bafflingly bad. It's a kind of impressive that a real human being or a group of human beings managed to look at this narrative and go, yeah, this is okay. This is acceptable.
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey.
Point 3, the narrative is extremely crowded. There is uncohesively just too much stuff in this game. We just mentioned the symbiote arc, obviously, and the introduction of a Harry Osborn and all that, who goes on to introduce Venom. There's also Mary Jane, who's a character, not well written, but she's there, and she's also playable as well, which on that note, Insomniac, please stop doing this shit. Nobody, and I mean nobody, likes this. And there's also Kraven the Hunter, who is pretty much the primary antagonist of the game. That's already a lot of stuff, but it gets even more overcrowded with Miles Morales being the other secondary protag of the game, complete with his own villain in Mr. Negative again, and Miles going through a whole revenge, anti-revenge arc thing. Miles even has his own side characters and love interests, which isn't really developed very well because the narrative is already overcrowded. It feels like there was one version of Spider-Man 2 that was just about Kraven and Mr. Negative, and another one just about the symbiote arc that kind of gets smashed together into a weird simultaneous story and forced to cooperate. And unshockingly, you get an unfocused narrative as a result, which you think wouldn't be the problem because we had like 2 Spider-Man movies that made the exact same mistake. Like, hear me out on this. Maybe, just maybe, you can introduce Harry and the symbiote in this game, but then you can save the actual arc of the symbiote for the next game. Maybe it's also a little too soon to reintroduce Mr. Negative back into the picture. You can foreshadow and set up these ideas, absolutely, but instead of trying to tell 5 stories at once in one video game, maybe it'd be better to pick like 1 or 2. I mean, it's not like you're at a financial risk or anything. It's fucking Spider-Man 2. It's another example of a shockingly amateurish decision, where the story is about things happening more than exploring why they happen. I know it's cliche to say it, but this really does feel like an amateur fan fiction. Give Insomniac a little time and we'll be on par with a racist Spider-Man, where he defeats the symbiote, not by being a good person and outsmarting it, but because it's black. Number 4, Miles' new suit. What the fuck is this shit? Who thought this was a good idea? What the fuck is this bullshit? I am dedicating an entire point to this. What is this suit? Who made this? You see, late in the game, Miles Morales decides to make his own suit for some reason. And this is what it looks like. Why is his scalp open? Why is the hair sticking from the top? Why would you leave your scalp out in the open like this? Who chose these colors? This is an eyesore.
It's time for a Miles Morales original, you know? One of one.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. What race was the guy who designed the suit? Was he a white guy? I think it was a white guy. The guy who designed this suit had to be so white, he either listens to country or Glaces 9 Vicious on Twitter. Point number 5, nobody can get Kraven right. I really hate how a lot of Spider-Man works adapt to Kraven, judging that he is the villain of one of the best Spider-Man stories ever. And yet, Kraven's Last Hunt has never actually been adapted. Now, up until this this point, Kraven was a mostly kind of like bland villain. He's a hunter and that's his entire character. But Kraven's Last Hunt did something interesting. It completely deconstructed him. Released in 1987 during the comic book industry's edgy, angsty era, Kraven's Last Hunt stands up there with stuff like Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns as one of those darker comic books that actually worked. See, the story follows Kraven the Hunter burying Spider-Man alive and LARPing as him, just so Kraven can prove that he's better than Spider-Man. And after brutally murdering people for a whole comic, he essentially does that in his own mind. So when Spider-Man digs himself out of his own grave and confronts Kraven, Kraven just gives the mantle back. Not because Kraven lost, but rather the opposite, because he won. So because, again, in his own mind, Kraven won against Spider-Man, Kraven just kills himself. But throughout all of this, Kraven misses what makes Spider-Man who he is. And that's the fact that Peter Parker is actually a pretty sensitive guy. And that sensitivity gives him a lot of purpose in his life, which is in stark contrast to Kraven being the most hyper-masculine Spider-Man villain of all time. I'm of course summarizing a bit heavily here, but this story dives heavily into Kraven's psychology, and single-handedly turned the character from like a mid-tier villain into one of Spider-Man's best. But you wouldn't know that from like any fucking version of him. Now, of course, I don't think you could have a Kraven kill himself in like Spectacular Spider-Man or anything, but I also think Spectacular Spider-Man making him a fucking furry is a weird decision.
Can we take that? Let's take his description. Okay. This is the guy.
But it really shocks me how the best part of this character is not actually really adapted at all. And that part of being his hyper-masculine psychology and that contrasting against Spider-Man. Especially nowadays with the hyper-masculine bullshit red pill culture, you would think if there's one villain that'd be relevant enough to adapt, it'd be this guy. But no, that's a political idea that actually sounds really cool and interesting. Let's not do that. Safe to say, Insomniac doesn't really do much to change the directory of fumbling Kraven. Kraven is ultra mega one-dimensional. He is the villain who is just there in the story. Now, Insomniac does take some very loose things from Kraven's Last Hunt, primarily that Kraven is on his last hunt.
My final hunt.
This time because he's dying of cancer. And all of that is not actually explored, but more so mentioned once or twice throughout the story, in order for Insomniac to slap a sticker on and say, we used a Kraven in our game. There is nothing cool or psychological done with him. And in fact, he's barely even really in the game at all. I shit you not, in this roughly 17 to 20 hour video game, Kraven appears for about 36 minutes of it, to which he stands around aura maxing the whole time. He is mostly an excuse for the game to just have a villain until the equally bland symbiote can start latching onto somebody and turn them into venom. And what hurts the most is that the actor, Jim Peary, is absolutely phenomenal in the role. So on top of a wasted character, it's wasted talent too.
I see a man. I sense a beast. But I believe anything can be broken.
You know, I never thought I'd say this as a good thing, but I really want this guy to kill himself. Furthermore, Insomniac chose to give him access to really advanced tech, so there are points you're fighting Robo Kraven dogs and Kraven Robo birds, which kinda takes away from the whole Kraven the Hunter thing, right? Now, am I saying that you have to have Kraven kill himself? Absolutely yes. I can't stress enough how influential this one Spider-Man story really is. And in fact, I would argue Kraven's Last Hunt could actually really work in this game. What if you use the symbiote to commentate on toxic masculinity? It's powerful, it's badass, it's way more effective, but also way more dehumanizing.
Why don't you pop some more pills?
And Kraven could be a reflection of what happens when you're too far gone, just without the cool black suit. When you're so effective as a hunter, but ineffective as a human being. And what if we went like even further with that? What if instead of these boring ass Mary Jane sections, we had these like super visceral Kraven the Hunter stealth flashback sequences that both dive into and establish the pure primal psychology of this guy? Like, holy shit, that'd be fire. They should hire me to write this shit, honestly. See, there's so much you could do with Kraven, and Insomniac does none of it. And just for the record, I'm not saying this to whine about comic book accuracy. I'm not a fucking purist. But if you aren't gonna gonna make a narrative that's on a par and or better than your source material, then like, what's the point? Why even use a Kraven at all? You could have used the goddamn Hydro Man, whatever. Who cares? Conclusion, I'm not buying Wolverine. If nothing else, Spider-Man 2 is why I think narrative does matter in video games. Because yeah, while the gameplay is fun, the narrative and structure is such a chore that oftentimes the context for the gameplay just feels whatever. Spider-Man 2 is a game entirely ruined by its narrative, to the point where I really don't have much reason to go back and revisit it. It's an incredibly amateurishly written narrative, and misses a lot of basic storytelling stuff that makes your narrative good. I feel really bad for Yuri Lowenthal. He does give a great performance when trying to read the worst dialogue of all the time.
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey!
Wow. Overall, while Spider-Man 2 is a fun game, once again, it's ruined by its very poor narrative. And I'm pretty tired of people trying to pretend like this isn't the case. There are plenty of great games where the gameplay is lackluster, but the story more than makes up for it. While Spider-Man 2 could be a great game because the gameplay is really fun, but the story single-handedly ruins the entire experience. To me, narrative is what separates a good game from a great game. A good game will be a lot of fun, but a great game will be unforgettable. And when a game is both and ties the gameplay and story together harmoniously, then you get a fucking masterpiece. So yeah, that's my review of Spider-Man 2, not to be confused with Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 2 the game, not to be confused with Spider-Man 2, which is the game based on Spider-Man 2, but it's not Spider-Man 2, which is also not to be confused with Spider-Man 2 on PSP, which is based on Spider-Man 2, but it's not Spider-Man 2 the game, which neither of these are Spider-Man 2 the video game, just to make that clear. Of course, Spider-Man 2 PSP should not be confused with Spider-Man 2 on PSP, which is in fact Spider-Man 2 on PSP, which is not Spider-Man 2 by the way. Not to be confused with Spider-Man 2 on PC, which is not Spider-Man 2 on PC or Spider-Man PSP, but it is based on Spider-Man 2, which is on PSP. Not to be confused with Spider-Man 2 on PC, which is Spider-Man 2 on PC, but not Spider-Man 2 on PC.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch, nah. Throw that shit in fifth, rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star, I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds, I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah. And we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn. Hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn, ay, laying outside in the summer sun. Ay, I'm with a dark-skinned girl on a Sunday, that's that Black Sabbath. She put them ones all down on a Hyundai, and she had to have it. Baby, that's the facts, yeah, that's the facts, yeah.
Mutant Hail Hydra. Mutant Hail Hydra. They don't understand why I side with Magneto.